consignments. You guys, it's time to show off your factories. No, I don't want to wait to go on YouTube and watch a beautiful documentary on. Show them off right here on TikTok. Let the world see. Okay, get like China. You got to be ghetto about it. Just let people know.
What he's announcing today, he has said that the reciprocal tariff, this is Scott Besson who announced it, the reciprocal tariff on China, where we jacked ours up to 125 and then they jacked theirs up on us to 125 for all goods, is now going to 10%.
Hermes says, made in China, does it feel cheaper? No, that's not a quality issue. It's luxury brand washing.
Megyn Kelly just blew the lid off the luxury world, claiming Chinese factories straight up stopped making bags for her namesake Kelly models and Louis Vuitton. That broadcast went nuclear fast, racking up over 5 million views in a few hours and triggering a full-blown panic online.
But Besant says the consensus as the U.S. met with China over the weekend was that we will reach a fuller trade agreement that, quote, neither side wants a decoupling.
Factory shutdown wasn't just trending. It exploded globally. Retailers were scrambling. Paris boutiques got hit hard. Hermes shipments slashed by a brutal 70%. Meanwhile, Louis Vuitton's NYC stores reported a 60% drop in scheduled deliveries. That's not a delay. That's a whole shipment wiped off the map. And for collectors? Chaos. People who paid months in advance for limited edition Birkins and Kellys suddenly got hit with cold cancellation emails.
Himalaya Wedding from boutique cost you $66,000 US. But do you know what the real cost from our factory? Let me show you the numbers. First, the leather. This Himalaya footband leather is supplied by the company HCP from front. And one piece of this Himalaya leather costs $1,300. One for the front, one for the back, and another one for the two sides. So 3 pieces is $3,900. Interior lining is imported lambskin, and the cost is about $200 US. Also, exactly the same thread. 25 hardware is set with diamonds, $700. Coating oil, the cost is $30, and the zipper $350. And at last, the cost for this 30-year experienced artisan's labor and skills is $700 US. Same material from the same supplier for those boutique bags by our factory is $6,000.
Furious buyers flooded Purse Forum and The Real with complaints. Even Christie's and Sotheby's braced themselves, prepping for a storm of high-ticket lots that never even left the workshops. It's shaking the whole resale game. This ain't just about missing bags. It's exposing something deeper. Behind the glam, it's all smoke and mirrors. Once the factory taps out, not even Hermes or Louis Vuitton can cover up a collapsing supply chain. Inside the factories of Guangdong, execs are finally talking. They said the costs went wild. Raw leather prices shot up 40% from global shortages.
U.S. said the reductions will last for 90 days while the talks continue.
And those shiny buckles and clasps? Metal costs soared 60% thanks to energy hikes. Add a 15% rise in electricity bills on top of that. But guess what? The brands only bumped retail prices 5 to 10% to keep profits sky high. One factory boss didn't hold back, saying, "We were stitching for pennies while they charged thousands."
Pieces of artwork. These artisans train years and years to make one of these bags.
Fabrice is doing the last stitching on a Kelly bag. A Kelly takes around 13 hours to be made, depending on the materials that we make it. Our artisans, they need to do 4 years of training to be able to manufacture a...
Now the cracks are showing, and the luxury world's starting to shake. When factories asked for just a 10% bump to cover rising costs, talks hit a brick wall. So they shut it all down. No warnings, no slowdowns, just a hard stop. A full-on blackout. Production lines froze instantly, grinding out 0 bags.
So it's higher. We're definitely charging more for Chinese goods to come into this country.
We're talking hundreds of thousands of high-end pieces gone before they even got stitched. That blackout didn't just hit the supply chain. It lit up social media like wildfire. TikTok turned into ground zero for a luxury war. Creators flooded the app with the hashtag #, Sharks Luxury Bags, showing off $150 lookalikes next to real $15,000 Birkins and LV classics. One viral side-by-side hit 12 million views in just 2 days. The message? Gen Z and millennials aren't chasing logos. They're chasing value.
Starts with 30 distinct cuts of leather and can take 20 hours to complete, 4 hours for just the handle. Put the finishing touches on a Kelly, the most difficult bag to build. Artisans rely on their training and muscle memory to make every bag.
This is why this bag from our factory only costs you 1,000 USD.
Have you all seen that TikTok by the Chinese guy exposing how luxury goods are actually made? The only real difference? China ships the products to Europe, slaps on a made in France or made in Italy label, and boom, luxury? It's ridiculous.
Influencers broke it down. Same saddle stitching, same buckles, same leather grain. But no certificates, no receipts, no flashy box. Just a plain package and a price that made luxury fans gasp. The purists were shook, but the younger crowd? They loved it. According to Business Insider, Louis Vuitton and Hermes keep popping up in these dupe convos. Gen Z sees nothing wrong with it. Plot Analytics confirmed it.
Like it had to happen. The markets were just too bad, the bond market in particular.
This new wave of shoppers ain't playing by the old rules. Here's the kicker. Dupe content has passed 10 billion views across platforms. That's not a trend, that's a revolution. Vogue Business says these aren't cheap knockoffs either. They're nearly identical pieces, made with the same materials, sometimes from the same exact factories, just without the crazy markups.
You guys, it's time to show off your factories. No, I don't want to wait to go on YouTube and watch a beautiful documentary on. Show them off right here on TikTok. Let the world see. Okay, get like China. You gotta be ghetto about it. Just let people know.
And now, the line between real and fake? It's basically invisible. Reddit's lighting up with outrage. And not from haters, but from longtime luxury buyers flipping the script. One top comment said it loud. If I can get a bag that looks identical for 1% of the price, why bother with authenticity? That post blew up, and it's got the fashion world sweating. Analysts at EU Marni are already warning. This mindset could wreck the entire illusion of luxury.
What he's announcing today, he has said that the reciprocal tariff, this is Scott Besson who announced it, the reciprocal tariff on China, where we jacked ours up to 125 and then they jacked theirs up on us to 125 for all goods, is now going to 10%.
No more mystique, no more worshiping the brand, unless they shift toward honest pricing or drop ultra-limited artisan-made runs. Those sky-high markups won't cut it anymore. The truth's out. The dupe wave isn't just a trend. It's a straight-up exposure of the industry's biggest secret. If no one can tell the real from the fake, what are you really paying for?
Hermes says, made in China, does it feel cheaper? No, that's not quality issue. It's luxury brand washing.
That exclusive glow around luxury brands? It's fading fast. And even the most iconic fashion houses are now scrambling to win back trust in a flooded market. And it's not just handbags under fire, sneakerheads. You're up next. Nike's got a major weak spot. Heavy reliance on Chinese and Southeast Asian factories is coming back to bite. Reddit sneaker threads are full of complaints. Jordan 1 pre-orders canceled, tracking numbers that never updated, and label-created messages that go nowhere. One buyer said they ordered in March. Still no shoes. Just silence. Retail analysts caught it too. Nike's Asia-Pacific preseason orders dropped 25% in Q2 2025. For a brand that runs on tight, just-in-time shipping, that's a red flag waving high. Worse, the quality's dropping. Internal audits show a 15% spike in messed-up stitching, seam errors, and glue smudges on limited edition kicks. These aren't fakes. They're legit pairs falling apart under pressure. YouTubers are posting unboxing vids showing glue stains straight from the box. Nike's not cutting corners. They're slashing them. And fans are noticing. Nike just got hit with a brutal wake-up call. Factory bosses overseas are turning up the heat, demanding up to 20% more per unit just to cover rising labor costs, energy bills, and new tariff headaches tied to US-China import changes. If Nike doesn't pay up, the deals get scrapped or renegotiated at cutthroat rates. That's real power, and for once, it ain't in Nike's hands. Now they're staring down exploding costs, delayed drop dates, and a cold truth. Some of the most hyped releases might not even make it to shelves. Customers and resellers? They're left holding confirmed orders with nothing to show. The shakeups got the whole fashion and sneaker world buzzing. Longtime buyers, the ones who used to worship every launch, are waking up. And behind the scenes, it's clear the factories run the game now. One fashion CEO spilled the tea. If factories can shut down production, they've got all the power. That flips the script after decades of brands calling all the shots. Sustainability voices are clapping, calling it a win for fair wages and more honest pricing. They say brands should finally show consumers what it really costs to make these products. But not everyone's buying that dream. Critics are warning. Big brands might just run to cheaper spots like Bangladesh, Vietnam, or even parts of Eastern Europe, ready to squeeze new workers under the same old playbook. And now the boardrooms are sweating. Do they swallow the rising factory costs to keep their brand name clean? Or chase the cheapest route again and risk another revolt from suppliers down the road? Either way, that old system, where brands got rich while factories stayed broke, is crashing fast. The balance is shifting. And if you placed that order for a rare Kelly bag last year, you might still be counting the days. But no one's promising it's coming. That estimated delivery for your dream bag? It's gone from 12 months to 3 years. And rumor has it, you might never get it at the price you locked in. Over in Sneakerland, it's just as wild. People who pre-ordered this fall's Jordans are in full panic mode, trying to hunt down a pair on the resale market, if they can even find one. And when they do, those same $200 Jordans now cost $400, $500, sometimes more. Supply is drying up, demand's on fire, and local sneaker boutiques, once the plug for exclusive drops, are getting wiped out. Shipments vanish without warning. A bunch have already closed up shop, blaming inventory reallocation and surprise supplier cutoffs. In Milan's Brera district, 2 fashion spots shut down overnight. Their "back in 2 days" signs? Now an inside joke. Over in New York's Soho, pop-up shops that once thrived on hype releases say they might never reopen if things don't stabilize. And on resale sites like StockX and GOAT, it's about to get ugly. Analysts are warning. The market's about to be hit with a flood of prepaid, undelivered orders. Collectors are already dumping items they know won't arrive, and that's going to drive prices through the roof. Expect resale jumps of 30 to 50% on the hottest pieces, all tied to the crumbling supply chain. Waitlists? Forget those. They're turning into digital lotteries. You'll throw in your email, then cross your fingers. Maybe you'll get that "you're selected" ping, months or even years later. Meanwhile, brands are out here putting a spin on the chaos. We're executing a strategic realignment, they'll claim. We're focused on quality over quantity. But let's be real. Under all that shiny PR, it's looking like survival mode. Let's be real. The old game is falling apart. The era of constant product drops and instant flex culture, it's collapsing fast. Shoppers are already feeling the heat. Prices are going up, options are shrinking, and wait times getting painful. Empty wish lists are stacking up. And if you thought hype culture was wild before, get ready. It's about to get brutal. The outrage is everywhere, and it's loud. Both digital influencers and everyday buyers are torching Hermes and Louis Vuitton, accusing them of hiding behind exclusivity while letting factory workers suffer. TikTok lit up with videos under #FashionRevolution and #NotYourBagGate. People slashing Hermes scarves, setting Louis Vuitton wallets on fire, and posting empty closet challenges. Some of those videos pulled tens of millions of views on Instagram. Even stylists jumped in, showing off before and after shots of stripped boutique shelves, tagging brands directly and demanding answers. When Paris Fashion Week kicked off, it wasn't just glam, it was fire. Celebs and media grilled brand reps on supply chain ethics. Over in Milan, LVMH executives got ambushed by a surprise protest outside the Dior showroom, all led by fashion revolution activists. And even Vogue Business admitted it. suppliers are drowning in transparency demands. The message is loud and clear. Social media can crush even the most untouchable brands. And now, fans want proof, not pretty promises. With factories barely running, Hermes and Louis Vuitton are making their next move into the digital world. But that's not drama-free either. Hermes slapped a lawsuit on NFT artist Mason Rothschild over his Meta Birkins, a collection of 100 digital Birkin bags that sold for up to 6 figures. Hermes said it was trademark theft, and the jury backed them, awarding $133,000 in damages. That case sent a message. The real world still rules over the NFT jungle. Even in the metaverse, these brands are fighting to stay in control. But out here, the revolution's already started. Hermes just dropped a bombshell. They're launching a virtual Birkin NFT, selling it as an eco-friendly move with zero environmental impact. Meanwhile, Louis Vuitton is hyping a full VR runway show in a custom-built metaverse space. But critics are not buying the fantasy. They're calling it what it is. Luxury brands cashing in on pixels, trying to make up for losses without sewing a single stitch. The business of fashion didn't hold back, warning that by chasing digital gold, brands could end up losing the very customers who fell in love with craftsmanship, not code. And while the fashion world's chasing the cloud, real-world consequences are closing in fast. Regulators in Brussels and Washington are circling like sharks. Lawmakers are cooking up serious legislation that could force brands to fully expose their supply chains, from raw material farms all the way to the final stitch. In Europe, it's called the Corporate Sustainability Due Diligence Directive, the CSDDD, and in the US, they're pushing a Forced Labor Disclosure Act. Both demand hard proof of ethical sourcing and slap on hefty fines for hiding abuse. Last week, Italy's Milan prefecture introduced a so-called voluntary agreement to tackle exploitation in local fashion houses. But critics are already dragging it, saying it's just for show unless real laws back it up. At the Global Fashion Summit, TrustTrace launched their new compliance canvas, revealing that suppliers are drowning in messy, inconsistent data requests from over 16 different global regulations. There's chaos behind the scenes, and brands are officially out of excuses. Now CEOs could soon find themselves in front of Congress or Parliament, not to show off a collection, but to answer for every invisible hand behind their labels. This saga makes one thing clear: the power in fashion is shifting. It's no longer just about runway glitz or A-list endorsements. It's about accountability. The real power? It ain't in the billboards or red carpets. It's buried deep in the supply chains. When factory bosses, fed-up shoppers, and global regulators start moving in sync, even the biggest names like Hermes, Louis Vuitton, and Nike are forced to face the music. Now comes the big question. Will these luxury giants finally step into a new era of real transparency? Or will they keep selling digital dreams while their credibility crumbles? Let us know what you think. Is this the collapse of old-school luxury, or the rise of something more honest? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And we'll catch you in the next one.